everybody. We wrote a lot of puzzles. And we kind of built a couple other things as well. So we're going to go through very, very briefly, and then like everything else, we actually hope to meet it this time. Not that we didn't hope to meet it before, but we are going to be very brief. We're going to go over a little bit of structure, a little bit of metas, and then we're going to talk about different things that happen in the course of the hunt. For most of this, I'm going to turn it over to Dan, who is a little bit more rested than me. Maybe.
I last slept 37 hours ago, Catherine. Welcome, everyone. We decided you haven't spent enough time on Mystery Hunt yet this weekend. Thank you all for coming. Seriously, despite the fact that we have unfortunately created a new record, we are incredibly grateful to all the people who kept solving and kept having fun. We had something like 25 teams, which is more than half the hunt, solving through Monday, basically. There was the last answer call-in that I'm aware of was 25 minutes ago. So thank you. It is awesome to see stuff getting solved and people sticking with it. So we are in fact, okay. If you can't, for those who are unable to read that one, it says, we set our meta puzzle on fire. We will mention that meta puzzle later and why someone might have thought to set it on fire. We actually printed out 100 copies of those just in case, and we went through 4 of them, and they took a lot of time to prepare. Okay, so we are going to go very quickly, just overview the hunt so that everyone gets a feeling for what's gone on. We are not really going to tell much in the way of stories because we think brevity is the soul of wit today. There is, Catherine notes it's on my notes for later, but I'll mention it now. There's a reception after this at the Mezzanine Lounge in W20. We have gracious free cookies provided by, who is it? It's VMware. So if you would like refreshments afterwards and chances to mingle and socialize, it'll be in W20 in the Student Center after this. The other administrative thing I will say now, while I have all your attention except for the fact that you're all facing the photo, is please do make sure to clean your headquarters. It's very, yes. It's very important that you do in fact, I have not actually credited the original authors of these images because someone sent it to me off of Twitter and I forgot to write down who tweeted it. So if he's in here, or he or she is in here, and I've just stolen your work, you may feel free to take credit or not as you please. But it was delightful. So what we're going to do is we're going to go really quickly through the structure. We want to show a few of the videos that we got, just because, in particular, the Code of Silence puzzle, where you had to create a lip dubbing, was absolutely fabulous. And we have a couple things that I think deserve to be shown there, and a few other just sort of like creativity things that really came out great. Okay, so let me, yes, thank you. I want to do 2 things. So unfortunately the resolution on this screen is kind of terrible, but this was the main page. This was the main page where you can see the team that you're trying to recruit to your heist. And then here you can see the obstacles that you would have to get through on your way to the bank's vault. We might slip and call them traps because we originally called them that, various notes and so forth. And so that you know what our view is like, we have this sheet which sort of outlines the whole hunt, like this, and we have one for each team where we were filling in your progress. So if you're curious after this, we're happy to show it to you. And this actually also shows the meta puzzle structure on here within the puzzles. So you can see the puzzles laid out on a Feynman diagram, or you know, in the Ocean's 11 meta, you can see the casinos that match up with the thieves, and it gives you the grid that you use to solve the meta and so forth. So what I think we'd like to do is just go briefly through the structure and metas of the hunt. Rob, did you want to do that?
Sure. All right. Got the pages? All right. Starts with Ocean's 11, which we had these 11 thieves. Oh yes, it starts with round 0, which we haven't pulled up here.
Oh, I haven't pulled it up, I'm sorry.
Yes, so round 0 was on the Enigma Valley site where you were finding out who you were recruiting in the first place. This was a round where the answers were all the people in the remaining rounds, so you had to solve the super meta there to get to the rest of the hunt.
I would like to quickly mention about round 0. Team Chem E, a 5-person team that registered at 9 a.m. Friday, called in the answer Indiana Jones on Monday at 8 a.m. And there was a team that had finished a complete solve of that first round Saturday at 6 p.m. So that round was a hunt sort of for a small beginning team, and it worked really well. And we love the people who just sort of went through that and stuck with it, and later on we were providing hints and so forth throughout the weekend.
All right. So in round 1 we had this structure where when you solve a puzzle, it gives you pieces of the casino puzzles. So you've got 11 thieves, 6 casinos, and we kind of expected a lot of people to draw out the grid of which thieves were unlocking which casinos, because that's what you solved the super meta on. As it turns out, the first time it was actually solved was at least like 22 hours into the hunt.
We aren't on the Get Smart round yet, but Agent 13 hides in places. For the 2 teams that went on the runaround, you may have encountered him/her in that ventilation shaft.
And in at least one case, been very, very surprised.
All right, in the Richard Feynman round, these puzzles give you their answers on this meta puzzle that's a sort of Feynman diagram thing. And in particular, the 3 kinds of quartz here are different encodings of words that you can start to deduce things about, perhaps from the first page, but it helps to have your answers as examples also. These are encodings in Braille, binary, and Morse code. In the Get Smart round, the first thing that happens from solving puzzles is that they get vague episode titles based on their answers added to this video, consisting of Dan walking through a whole lot of doors. Pick up that? It is a 6-minute video. And when you solve the meta implied by those titles, Then you unlock the interaction where Maxwell Smart retrieves the super meta on the raid of a meeting at location 9, which is the 9th location in the video, but it says he's going to run off a copy for you, and he screws it up and puts it through a shredder instead. And at that point, he's kicked off of the case and replaced by Agent 99. And you get 3 more Agent 99 puzzles, which use the answers in the round in different ways. We have Following the News, which uses all of the answers that contain 4 N's, E's, S's, or W's to spell out directions on a grid that form letters. There is Looking Like Bond, where these 8 puzzles have overlapping trigrams. You draw their links and you form a diagram of acetic acid. And Calling Bingo, where the answers are just things like steak sauce, A1, and planar 2D, and so on, that spell out add in tech. Let's mention what the add in the tech was. Because there are a lot of alternate possibilities there. The add in the tech was one we placed through MidBeef called Beef and Review 2012. And it was not the one about the actual art theft or whatever that was.
Boy, were we sad about that.
To be fair, it was really fake looking.
I forgot to mention, Following the News gives you the answer folding. So when you solve one of those, you get the deshreddicated diagram from Control Headquarters, and you can apply 3 steps to it to get the answer out of it, which are doing a folding where you line up the A's with the B's, kind of like Mad Magazine. Is that true? Yeah.
There are no A's and B's.
No A's.
You fold in the left side of the grid, Matt aligns with the right side of the grid, and the result is a new grid.
Okay, you align the left side of the grid with the right side of the grid to get a new grid. You apply acetic acid to it to uncover letters we highlighted in indicator. You do not, in fact, apply heat to it to reveal things in acetic acid, and that is how you end up setting your meta puzzle on fire. And you look at the words that appear in the add and the tech, and the combination of all of those gives you the answer, Investments in Chaos.
We will have solutions online in the next couple of days, maybe tomorrow, but we're all kind of tired.
We need to sleep. Yes, the solution to Feynman was high electron charges. Indiana Jones, you got these 3 different adventures, each of which ends in a meta puzzle. And so this one gave you this complicated diagram of snakes that you were in fact supposed to cut up and arrange into shapes. The remaining letters spell join or die, and you realize that your shapes might not be quite right. Your shapes need to be the outlines of states from the colonial era. And the order in the diagram of the order in the join or die woodcut gives the ordering to diagonalize. Oops. Okay. The answer to that was Atlantis. So getting the answers here reveals a new location in the map where you get a piece of the super meta, which I'll explain in a moment. The second adventure. This one is just a snake logic puzzle where you try and hit the letters of all of your answers in order without hitting other letters. And the third adventure was a game of snakes and ladders that you play using a word ladder, changing one letter each time you land on a letter, adding a letter when you go up a ladder, and dropping a letter when you go down a snake. The answer here was pyramids, the answer here was Great Wall. And each of these gives you one of these things, which is part of a very complicated calendar system with a cycle of 400 days, because you can also take all the answers in the round and put them together into names of events, such as Stravinsky Riot, or Svalbard Total Eclipse, or Ali Foreman. And you decode the dates that refer to these, to those events, and a bunch of other dates that refer to mithenge dates. And the years of the appropriate mithenge dates spell out from 2001 to 2026 partnership with BOA. In sneakers, each puzzle is associated with a city. You have 3 meta puzzles that each use a map of they each use the cities in the U.S. in a different way. Federal Reserve, you determine that there are 2 cities in each Federal Reserve District, and you take the letter of the Federal Reserve District that appears in the one that's got the actual Federal Reserve Bank, take the letters that appear in the corresponding position in the other city, and they spell out unknown tool. Because what you're picking up, because in this round you are picking up pieces of an Enigma machine. And one of them is located near the tomb of the unknown tool.
I would like to especially call out Random's team, who decided that they could brute force the Enigma machine with one wheel and an 8,000 core supercomputer. At least that's what they told us. About 10 minutes later, or some very small number of minutes later, they got another wheel, but...
Yeah, they had all 3 wheels by the time it mattered. It would have been interesting to see if somebody had pulled an Alan Turing here. Air traffic control was filling in a diagram with answers that overlap on their first and last letter. The extracted letters give you airport codes. You can draw them on a map, and of course they form a semaphore. What else do you do with directions? And the semaphore is in fact made entirely of numbers and gives you 140637. And National Power Grid gives you very little information except the title and some numbers here, but you find these cities on a power grid board. Look at the connection costs between them and index into the answers. To spell door into office of Dr. Benoit Forget, and we are very grateful to him that he exists and has a name that matched the structure and allowed us to stick things on his door. And in Erno Rubik, you have this cube where you have the center of each face is a meta puzzle involving the puzzles that have, the cubies are puzzles, the meta puzzles involve all of the cubies that include that color. There's a quick summary. Green tea, yes, green tea was about stations near the end of the green line. White magic was a very simple meta puzzle where you just take a particular magic square represented by this symbol that's in place of the H and index into your answers. Cardinal red, you replace a letter. Cardinal red, you replace a letter in each answer with a cardinal direction, spell a new word. Clockwork orange, you identify a 2-letter bigram that appears twice in the answer, treat it as a country code, find out what time zone that country is entirely within, and take its letter. Blue ox. This diagram, the shades of blue are all slightly different. If you look at their hexadecimal values, possibly glued by ox, looking like 0x, you can find that they are all interesting hexadecimal values with a bunch of zeros. OX also refers to tic-tac-toe, as do the thicker lines in between the things here. And the hexadecimal values indicate the order to make moves in the game of tic-tac-toe. You make the rest of the moves, and to play optimally, and they spell out electroosmosis. Which, fascinatingly, somebody called in for a completely different puzzle in a different round when they were back solving. It confused us so much. And yellow flag is yet another semaphore puzzle. You take the letters in the words that are in common in the same index. You take their positions. You take their directions on this diagram, putting red on the top, and they spell out the answer in semaphore. So super meta. Rubik's super meta, yes. Yes, there is more. It ends in this puzzle called the crypto cube, which I will pull up, and you get a bunch of example words. that are kind of like moves you could apply to a cube. Each of these words, however, contains one extra letter from A to Z, and if you drop each letter once from each of these, then you can find a consistent mapping of letters to moves on the cube. The thing that confused people a lot was the fact that laugh appears twice because you drop a different letter each time. When you figure out that encoding of moves, this is what you get from applying your metas in alphabetical order. The letters up here you order these words by the letters that you drop from them, and they say apply all metas in order something like YOWRGB. When you apply that instead, you get a different scrambled cube where these letters end up spelling out a message for you, where the message is about the bank, why Erno Rubik doesn't like them now. They think he is associating with the wrong sort of groups. Conundrum was the only one to solve this.
So at the beginning of the hunt, you're introduced to these characters. Each of the beginning puzzles gives you the name of a character that you want to recruit to your heist team to recover the mystery hunt coin. You've recruited all of these characters now because you've found a reason for them to dislike the bank and therefore work with you. The reasons have been varied and rather silly. And after each of these rounds, the character says, well, the bank hired me to build this part of their vault. Let me show you sort of how this part of the vault works. So how this part of the security system works. So IHTFP, which is this heist consulting company, builds models of these defenses that you get to test out after you solve each super meta. And we tried to make sure that every team got to go through at least a couple of these by inviting you down sort of at times when we were not overwhelmed with other things. After you've solved this round, we had a puzzle that we removed for time. Goodness me. Which was a bureaucracy puzzle. It is less dreary than it sounds. Are you able to bring it up? No, I think I want to do it very briefly. So it's a form. And you fill out this form. And answer clued by its chemical formula, answer clued in different ways, in different languages, etc. Except it turns out that each of these elements appears in two different puzzles somewhere in the hunt. So there are actually two possible answers. But you go through and you fill in, you have to fill in some percentage of them. But you go in and you fill in some answers and you sort of yell around the team and you're like, who remembers an answer to a puzzle referring to the matrix? Who remembers a puzzle referring to the matrix? And you submit, and then the form basically says, sorry, we didn't like your answer to these questions. Give us a different answer. And you put in those different answers, and sort of regardless what you put on this form, it manages to arrange the next form so that the answers spell out Enigma Valley gives you the runaround.
That's why you recruit yourself.
Right, which is why you recruit yourself. And then you proceed on the runaround where you go through, in fact, all of those traps that you practiced, but Maxwell Smart in the Get Smart round was fired because he shredded the secret chaos form rather than photocopying it like he said. So in order to try to sort of prove himself, he went ahead and tried to get the coin back. He failed, the bank upped their security, and so there are some extra things that you have to get through when you're there. And we tried to design a runaround in which the runaround group that's out there is going through these obstacles, but there are also home team puzzles that the home team is working on. So everyone gets to be occupied, and the home team puzzles reveal what the runaround group has to do to get through the modified obstacle. No. And then afterwards, you find the coin. There's an additional sort of, it's in a pile of coins. and you have to figure out which one is the actual coin. There are a bunch of duplicates, and so you have a scale where you have a certain number of weighings, and you have to weigh it. The reason this particularly amused, well, something that was particularly amusing about this was that we asked you to create a cracked article, and Codex decided that one of the craziest places to hide a coin was a bunch of coins. So congratulations, Codex, to correctly anticipating our theme, or our final hiding location, with your cracked article, which was fabulous, by the way. I think that's basically the entire hunt. We are. Okay, we'll get to that. So that runs us through the entire hunt. I don't want to take questions on particular puzzles right now, because it would just take forever, and we've already done that. There will be a session after this where you can talk, where we'll be around, and you can have cookies and talk to each other and us and so forth. I will say that a bunch of people requested that we talk about the Time Conundrum and wrap up, because people loved it. This was logistically difficult because we had to make sure to call an answer in for you before you got the puzzle, and then call you to say that you'd called in red herring and it was incorrect.
Some very fantastic reactions from some teams.
One team,
People had an argument with us.
one team, I don't remember who you are, called in red herring again, not because you thought it was correct, but because you wanted to prevent a paradox. So I think what we'd like to do is end just by doing a couple of things. We're going to do a brief intermission of amusing videos we received for a couple of quick minutes, and then I want to say a few wrap-up logistical things and thank yous, and then if you want to talk further about the hunt, or the hunt structure, or how ridiculously hard it was, talk to us afterward. So let me bring up a few videos that we all thought were absolutely awesome and we wanted to share with people.
I told you I don't want it.
Okay, I'll zip up my pants.
No, I don't want your stupid new account promotional giveaway.
Don't want it? What do you want, you right gold?
I told you I switched to CFLs 3 days ago.
Tony, I give you the best light bulbs, I give you the best interest rates. I'm a chaos agent. I'm really looking out for the best for you. Hey, I'm just saying, if you want to keep on the down low, just, don't tell Alyssa to be happy.
No?
You dog, I heard warning on this video for obvious
All right, you know what? Fine, we won't do this video. Okay?
Yo, dog, I heard that Evil was going to put a safe inside a safe so that you could crack while you crack.
That is pretty evil for a setup.
You know, it's hot when Chaos Agent Tinder Behavioral works. He's a beached mambo over here.
She must fetch the fisting cream.
John, a fist. You've already got 2 shafts in you. Come, let us go ejaculate in the boudoir simultaneously.
Your team has a different culture than ours.
Yeah, okay, we got the coin, we gotta hide it somehow. You should eat it. Eat it. Oh yeah, there you go, eat it. Yeah, they'll never suspect I'm a chaos agent in disguise. It's in my stomach.
You're a chaos agent in disguise? I don't know that.
Wait, no, the real smart. They've got puzzles, and they're gonna figure stuff out, and they've got... You know drum puzzle?
Yeah, check it out.
Third? Is it third? It's a third!
Alright, and what I want to end with for videos is something from Palindrome. So, I warned you guys. So, I think this was Sunday night. We were giving out options like nobody's business. And Palindrome called us and they were like, could we get 68 options? We don't like not having a round number. And they offered to trade us embarrassment for options. Yes. Yes.
We wanted to round up.
Fair. Totally fair.
There was a lot of back-solving possible out of some of the Meadows, and we saw a fair bit of attempts of that over the course of the hunt, as many of you may have perpetrated. So we will leave you with this ode to doing that.
All right, I'm sorry. Yes, so we want, of course, to congratulate all of the teams who were solving throughout. This proved to be an incredibly difficult hunt, contrary to our expectations, and you guys stuck with it and did tons of great puzzles. Ultimately, the winner was the team whose name is the complete text of Atlas Shrugged. Like to say?
See you next year.
Okay. I would also like to do a plug for the Mystery Hunt Archives. This website is maintained. Thank you, Alan Rabinovich. And he's been putting up all of this stuff. A lot of the historical information about the hunt is there, but some is missing. If you know of any of this stuff, if you are able to provide it, please email it. You know, we should get the history of the hunt completely archived for everyone. Finally, we actually have a much larger special thanks section than this, but I ran out of time when I was typing it, so we're going to say some of it aloud. Vina Medical and VMware for providing us with food at various points, either before or immediately after hunt. Asana, which is a task management software system that basically helped us organize our life. Dropbox. Alice Thompson is a friend of mine who is a professional artist and did the artwork for the Indiana Jones round. So that map was done by her. I encourage you to look her up. She's awesome. Ashish, I know you had people you wanted to thank.
Briefly,
yeah, briefly, I just wanted to say Karen Rustad did much of the website design, most of the graphics and cartoons were her. And And Sean Lipp designed the super cool 3D cube, which took us a couple iterations, so I just wanted to plug him. And then so a long slew of tech people, you can ask me about it later, but Jason Alonso, Glenn Willen, John Stumpo, Dan Galata, and a bunch of other people did a lot to make this hunt happen.
And thank all of you for
Okay, so remember there's a wrap party in the mezzanine lounge right after this. Please remember to clean your headquarters within the next 2 hours. We really need you to clean your headquarters or we are going to be pulling another all-nighter. And we have these for you if you would like to pick them up.
There's actually another reason that has nothing to do with us, which is that this year I just want everyone to know that it's very important for administrative reasons, for our relationship with the administration, that everyone actually cleans their HQ, and I want that to be very much ingrained in everybody's mind. So please do that so we can continue to do this great thing.
Thank you all again, and good luck writing next year. Team whose name I cannot say.